ଆମେ କୋଉ ଚାପ୍ଟର ଡିସ୍କସ କରୁଥିଲେ ୱାର୍କର୍ସ ପାର୍ଟିସିପେସନ ଇନ୍ ମ୍ୟାନେଜମେଣ୍ଟ। ୱାର୍କର୍ସ ପାର୍ଟିସିପେସନ ଇନ୍ ମ୍ୟାନେଜମେଣ୍ଟ ଏ ଚାପ୍ଟରଟା ଆମେ ଡିସ୍କସ କରୁଥିଲେ, ଗୋଟେ କ୍ଲାସ୍ କରିଛନ୍ତି, ତାର ମିନିଂ ବୁଝିଲେ and what is the scope and where to work, how we can create different environment that workers can involved in working in the management. So we discussed all of this. How workers are participating in different decision-making process, in different managerial activities. So that is the meaning of this concept, workers' participation in management. Worker participation in management is one important element of industrial democracy, so that workers will be self-satisfied and it will maintain the overall democratic environment in the industry, because workers and owners are same in one sense. These are the characteristics of worker participation in management. We discussed and what are the objectives, why this is required. These are the main objectives: avoid exploitation, create a democracy, better understanding between employers and employee, self-expression, which will lead to industrial peace, establish good communication, and finally it will reduce the resistance and help workers to accept the change. So these are the main objective of workers' participation in management. This also we discussed. Different forms of participation, how workers are participated in the organization. Collective bargaining, different council to different members, committee members, joint management, board representation, workers' complete ownership, co-partnership. So these are the different forms how workers will be participating in the management. This also we discussed. And different levels of management, different levels of participation in management. So how you will make sure workers are participated in different levels: informative participation, consultative participation, associative participation, administrative participation, decisive participation. In one sense, these are different kind of participation and different types of participation. Considering your situation, you will make sure people are participated in different levels. And the strategy, how you'll involve the workers in different managerial decision. These are the different strategy you can adopt based on their organization need. Like you have to run a pilot project. Suppose ତମେ ଚାହୁଁଛ କିଛି ଲୋକଙ୍କୁ ଇନଭଲ୍ଭ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଗୋଟେ କାମରେ, ମାନେ କେମିତି ଆରମ୍ଭ କରିବ? They are not experienced in that. ତାଙ୍କୁ ଗୋଟେ pilot project ଦେଇକି କିଛି କାମ ଦେଇକି then you involve. Goal setting. For certain people, you decide a goal, you objective, so that they can work on a weekly, monthly, or quarterly basis. Okay, so workers are aware that they have to complete this goal by this month end, by next month end. So they have the goal. Suppose you want someone to participate in management in some way, like you are making a goal to observe or shadow a higher management. Suppose one person is, you are training that person and you are grooming that person to grow up to certain level and participate in the management. One of the goal is for that person is to shadow the management. That means that person will observe and shadow one of the managers so that he or she will learn how decisions are taken, how meetings are arranged, how overall management is happening. So that is one of your strategy, how you'll make sure the people are participating in management, goal setting, communication, training, evaluation, communication training. These are all part of uh, like training, grooming, and say ତମେ ଯଦି ଚାହୁଁଛ ଗୋଟେ ଲୋକକୁ ପାର୍ଟିସିପେଟ କରିବା ଲାଗି ମ୍ୟାନେଜମେଣ୍ଟ ତାମାନେ କ'ଣ ତମେ ତାକୁ ପ୍ରମୋଟ କରିବାକୁ ଚାହୁଁଛ ତାକୁ ଗ୍ରୁମ୍ କରିବାକୁ ଚାହୁଁଛ ତାକୁ ଟ୍ରେନିଂ ଦେବାକୁ ଚାହୁଁଛ in order to give all these things so what you have to do ତାକୁ ଛୋଟ ଛୋଟ ପ୍ରୋଜେକ୍ଟ ଦିଅ କାମ ଦିଅ ଗୋଲ୍ସ ତାର ଲାଗି ସେଟ୍ କର ସେ କେମିତି କମ୍ୟୁନିକେସନ ଇମ୍ପ୍ରୁଭ ହବ ସେ ବିଷୟରେ ଟ୍ରେନିଂ ଦିଅ finally you will evaluate the effectiveness of workers participation ଏତେ କାମ କଲା ପରେ କିଛି ଫାଇଦା ହେଉଛି କି ନାହିଁ ତାକୁ ଇଭାଲୁଏଟ୍ କରିବ କିଛି ବେନିଫିଟ୍ ମିଳୁଛି କି ନାହିଁ as the workers are management so you are evaluating so these are the different strategy of implementation of workers participation in management suppose ତମ ଅର୍ଗାନାଇଜେସନ ରେ ଗୁଡ଼ାଏ ରିକ୍ରୁଟମେଣ୍ଟ ଚାଲିଛି ଗୁଡ଼ାଏ ଇଣ୍ଟରଭ୍ୟୁ ନେବା ଚାଲିଛି ତମେ କ'ଣ କରିବ ତମକୁ ଦାୟିତ୍ୱ ଦିଆଗଲା ତମେ ଏଇ ବର୍ଷ 20 मेंबर्स को रिक्रूट करिवो तमे इंटरव्यू देउचा सिलेक्ट करचा जे करचा तमर सबऑर्डिनेट जे तमे तंको रेस्पोंसिबिलिटी देला से माने शॉर्ट लिस्ट करिवे 20 मेंबर्स को तमे रिक्रूट करिया पई एत 100 मेंबर्स की 200 मेंबर्स रिक्रूट इंटरव्यू नेवा पड़ियो तमे तो सब कर परबनी तेनु तमे सबऑर्डिनेट को तमे ट्रेन करिवो तांको कम्युनिकेशन इंप्रूव केमते आवाज तांग लागि गोल सेटिंग करिवो ए सब जिंस कले these are the different strategy where you can ensure that management that workers are participating in the management and they will feel good they will feel satisfied and happy about it because they are participating in some higher decision so these things we all discussed so now we'll understand what is the trend what happened now of workers participation after after independence in India. So we have few concepts before independence, after independence. Before independence in 1920, Mahatma Gandhi, the father of nation, has suggested the idea of workers' participation in India. He has initiated some concept, or he recommended, he suggested that workers, the lower level workers should participate in the management. So based on his suggestion, in the same year, that means around 1920, workers and employees in Ahmedabad textile industry, where the textile manufacturing happening. In Ahmedabad textile industry, workers agreed to settle their dispute by joint discussion and consultation, that is participative management. We learn sometimes before what is participative management. Participative management what? The workers are participated in the management and part of some decision making process. That is participative management in India, and such committee were also set up in different companies like Tata Iron. Tata Iron and Steel is manufacturer of Tata Steel, like different iron material. In Jamshedpur, that is a big factory. In Jamshedpur, there are so many industries. So Tata. So you will see that lot of people, lot of industrialization is there, lot of employment is there. So when Mahatma Gandhi has introduced this, and the same thing was applied in the Ahmedabad. After that, the same type of committee and the environment was set up in different organization, and it started from Tata Iron Steel Company, Jamshedpur. That was one revolution happened before independence. Then after independence, we have a lot of things happened. Up to July 1975, there had been three forms of workers' participation in management introduced in India. Work committee. Work committee is something we study is one form of participation, where most of the company will form the committee, then the employees are part of that committee. Joint management. Joint management is what where workers and management are talking and deciding and planning something together. This is also a concept we study. Joint management and workers, directors on the board of directors. Sometimes the workers are trying to part of board of directors, and some company they have a provision, they have a policy to include workers in the board of directors, in the board. Another concept we study is co-partnership. So these things, all these things happened after independence till July 75. In June 1977, the Indian government set up a high powered expert committee and companies and MRTP Act. Under this is the chairman's name, Rajendra Sachai. So under this chairmanship, there is a committee set up in 1977 where the members participated in the management. After that, the government has initiated that committee on workers' participation in management and equity in September 1977 under the chairmanship of Ravindra Verma, the Union Minister of Labour. Ravindra Verma was the Indian Minister of Labour, Labour Ministry. So Labour Ministry has identified and initiated few things. Finally, in 90s, in May, the participation of workers in management bill was introduced. This was the bill introduced how workers will participate in management. So the bill introduced in 90s. After that, nothing happened, but see the trend. So before independence, when Mahatma Gandhi was introducing the participation in 1920, then some company adopted, then 1970 till 1975, some policy was created, then 1977, a lot of committees. So nowadays you see if you work in a big organization, there are different committee, different way to associate, there are different level of training, so that lot of transparency is there nowadays. So you can see and participate in many ways. It was not there earlier. And there are few observations in current state. If you see the current atmosphere of the industry, there are few observations which we'll read after some time. We'll take a break here, then we'll read how the participation impacting and what are the observations happened considering the worker participation and industrial dispute act what we studied. We'll meet after 5 minutes in the same link.